Steve Bannon doesn't just hold the House of Representatives in contempt. He seemed to hold Donald Trump in contempt at times in Michael Wolff's first book about the Trump presidency, titled Fire and Fury. It may be that Michael Wolff has spent more time speaking with Steve Bannon than Donald Trump has. In Michael Wolff's new book, Too Famous, he writes, Bannon is a man who can't stop talking, and we logged hundreds of hours of conversation together in Trump Tower, the White House, the frat-style accommodations he occupied on Capitol Hill, the luxury suites he favored when he was in New York. Michael Wolff tells the story of how Steve Bannon joined the Trump team when he was running Breitbart website, which was then funded by the Mercers, a rich Republican family. In August 2016, he read an article in the New York Times about the collapsing Trump campaign. He called the Mercers, worried that a landslide Trump defeat might damage Breitbart. The Mercers, political innocents, but with a vast checkbook, immediately flew out to the Hamptons to meet Trump at a fundraiser to be held at the home of Woody Johnson, the Johnson & Johnson heir and New York Jets owner, whom Trump would subsequently appoint his ambassador to the Court of St. James. Virtually no one showed up for the fundraiser, a humiliating moment for Trump, who, with the promise of a new influx of cash from the Mercers and desperate not to spend his own money, promptly agreed to make Bannon the head of his campaign. And that is why Steve Bannon is now one day away from being the target of his second federal prosecution. Donald Trump ended the first federal prosecution of Steve Bannon while it was underway when he pardoned Steve Bannon. Joining us now is Michael Wolff. He is the author of Too Famous, The Rich, the Powerful, the Wishful, the Notorious, the Damned. That is his new book. Michael, you have more insight into Steve Bannon than anyone on the January 6th committee. And we see what Steve Bannon's doing now. He's going to fight this legally as far as he can. Presumably, this is good for Steve Bannon's business, isn't it, to be seen as the great resistor of this investigation?
This is exactly where Steve Bannon wants to be. The Democrats could not have played more into Steve Bannon's hands. He is the happiest man in America tonight. I mean, it's, Steve's frustration. Remember, Steve has been kind of in the wilderness for the last 3 years since Trump forced him out of the White House. But the real pain in Steve's heart is that the attention has been on Donald Trump, who Steve regards as stupid, crazy, and a crook, rather than the attention being on Steve Bannon. So, yes, it's a good day for Steve.
So the maximum penalty, if he's convicted of this, is 12 months. It's a federal sentence. Maybe he serves 8, 9, something like that. You think?
Oh, he would be in heaven. He would literally be in heaven. This would make his career and his life.
He would do the time and cash in on the time, presumably.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it would be. I mean, I really can't. I've been watching this and I've been thinking. This Steve is just the luckiest man on earth.
Now, let's go to the theoretical where the committee does end up questioning him. We just saw, Jim Jordan today trying to answer questions about how many conversations he had with Donald Trump around January 6th. What would testimony from Steve Bannon be like if he was under oath, trying to avoid perjury, possibly using the Fifth Amendment here and there?
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the interesting things about this is that I don't think that Steve Bannon has much to testify to. He really was not certainly he was not in close contact with Donald Trump. I mean, he made efforts to be in contact, but Trump doesn't like to speak to Bannon. I don't think Jim Jordan was really in touch with the president either, and I think what Jim Jordan is trying to not to say is that, or what he is trying to imply is that he was in touch with the president, but the reality is that he wasn't. So everybody is kind of using this at a weird counter purpose. They want to be here. They want to be Trump defenders. They want to be seen as somehow being in important players in January 6th, when, in fact, it was, I think, what will ultimately unfold here. This was chaos, mayhem, disorganized, and that that nobody was really representing Donald Trump, except, as always, Donald Trump.
Michael Wolff, the new book is Too Famous. The insights to Steve Bannon are available nowhere else. Michael Wolff has them all. Thank you very much for joining us tonight, Michael. Really appreciate it.
Lawrence, thank you.
We'll be right back with tonight's Last Word.